How's it going there, everybody? It's Mr. Zen over here bringing you guys a brand new Nanatsu no Taizai chapter discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we're going to be talking about what's actually been going on in this recent actual chapter, folks. In chapter 242, the 7 members of the Taizai team are actually disbanded, folks. Yes. No doubt about it. They are disbanded. But they are disbanded by none other than the actual captain of their own team, MacLeod himself. And you're here wondering as to, Zen, why are they being disbanded? That's a very good question. Why are they being disbanded, Nakaba-sensei? Nakaba-sensei, why are you disbanded when they just actually finally returned all 7 again to go face off Zeldris himself? But no, they're actually gonna they're gonna be disbanded once again, which makes no freaking sense to me. But I'm guessing it's more so the fact because what's gonna happen in the later chapters. I from what I can actually ponder and actually see, what MacLeod is actually trying to do is MacLeod is actually trying to actually save his actual own team members by not having them actually confront Zeldris himself, because he knows that Zeldris might actually hurt his own friends, and that's why MacLeod is giving him that kind of speech where he's just denying his friends and just trying to save them in general. But the point of the fact is that from what I can understand, MacLeod is gonna go to Zeldris and he's actually gonna say, yes, I'm gonna let the demon king himself actually take over my body on this plane and let him take over. But I bet you MacLeod is gonna give the demon king an ultimatum in order for the demon king to actually take over his body, and that is to get rid of Elizabeth's actual curse. Because if you guys remember, at the end of the chapter, MacLeod was actually specifically stating that this is the only way, and this is the only way in order also to save Elizabeth herself, as she only has a little limited time on this plane. Because you guys remember, the curse on Elizabeth is the fact that every 3 days, not every 3 days, actually, once her both powers come back from both eyes, or her full powers come back, she only has 3 days to live, and that's it. And then she's gonna get reincarnated over and over again. And of course, MacLeod does not want to see that, so he wants to end this right here and right now. And I wouldn't blame MacLeod for doing that itself. But like I said, there's a motive to what MacLeod is doing. He's not doing it just because he's returning to his former self. No, he really is just trying to save his actual team members. He's trying to save everybody in the best possible solution. If you guys saw, Chandler did not even glance at the other members themselves once MacLeod went with Chandler. See, it's just the fact that Chandler was really just trying to prohibit the other members from actually interfering with Chandler's, bringing MacLeod back. Now, the thing that I'm kind of curious to is the fact that Chandler's character is going to be turning over. From what I can see and gather from this chapter, it seems that maybe Zeldris and Cusack are really going to be the final villains later on after this chapter, because it seems Chandler himself, he really respects MacLeod. He sees him as a student. He loves him. You could tell he clearly has a place for his heart for MacLeod. Now, the thing that I'm mentioning, that Zeldris and Cusack are really going to be enemies, because if you guys remember back in the previous chapters, Cusack himself has stated, Zeldris, I will protect you with my very own life, no matter who it is, even if it was the other Ten Commandments themselves, especially Estarossa. And we still also have Estarossa himself in the background, lingering and waiting for MacLeod to come back. So that begs the question that Estarossa could also be another final villain. Estarossa could actually take the role of Demon King himself and come back, while Zeldris and MacLeod can actually team up to face off against Estarossa, because Estarossa seems the one that's kind of lingering in the background. He's just not really saying much. Zeldris shows a little bit more emotion now that Cusack has actually been involved now in these actual recent chapters. So like I said, I'm kind of seeing what Nakaba-sensei is actually trying to write. Like this is the plan. This is the game plan. MacLeod is gonna go back to Zeldris, and Zeldris is gonna say, yes, okay, fine, we're gonna do this. And MacLeod says, no, I want this ultimatum. The ultimatum, of course, back again, is to give Elizabeth her life back, her freedom, the freedom from the curse. Now, of course, Cusack is probably gonna be like, no, you can't be doing that. And of course, MacLeod is gonna, they're all gonna duke it out right there and then. And Cusack, of course, saying, Zeldris, I'll protect you, don't worry. Bam, bam, bam. They're gonna duke it out. Now then, Estarossa comes in. He's probably gonna say, though, and by orders of the Demon King, you guys are not worthy anymore, and I'll take over. And bam, he'll probably take these guys down, and then they'll have to team up. Just because of the fact that, like I said, the Demon King probably has some new plans, and he's been seeing so many failures in the actual upcoming, you could say, his new protégés, you could kind of say, which will make it a very interesting chapter to see. I would like to see Cusack face off against Chandler. That would be very interesting. Cusack against Chandler, guys, think about it, and then while Cusack and Meliodas are trying to just duke it out in the background, Chandler coming and saying, hey man, don't mess with my student, this is his decision, I respect it, but right now he's actually trying to create a plan to actually control the situation that's actually unfolding around itself. That could actually be another interesting case. See Cusack and Chandler, and then both those guys are actually in the background duking it out, and then you got Zeldris and Meliodas and could duke it out against Estarossa. Boom, right there and then. That's the way I would actually want to see that. I want to see those specific chapters actually go about. I want to see full-on chapters against Chandler versus Cusack, full-on chapters against Zeldris versus Meliodas. I want to see Estarossa full-on chapters, backstory on him. That's what we're going to be seeing now that the story is unfolding. So the disbandment itself is more so a fact to give more development for the other members of the actual 10 Commandments, or the enemies that are just recently been appeared now. It's just to give it that kind of sense right there. Now, the 7 members of the Taizai team, I'm not too sure what's gonna happen, but it seems that Gowther is taken out, so he's got the absolute order. The only way he can actually get that off is if Chandler takes it off, and of course Chandler will probably take it off once that situation unfolds, where Meliodas and Chandler are facing off against Cusack and Zeldris. That could actually be going about right there. So then the absolute order will be taken off Gowther, and Gowther will come back, and he'll bring back the morale back from the group. And then Bond himself, Bond, every single freaking time. I am kind of irritated at Bond's character development. He started off as a very good character in the beginning of the series, guys. No joke about that. But it's just that because the power levels just keep rising, Bond just seems just like an insect that just doesn't give up. That's all it is. Like, to me, it's just that Bond needs more development. That's what I'm kind of hoping that Nakaba Sensei can actually work on. That is Bond's more development on himself and Elaine's. Like, I feel like he's trying to keep these two characters on the side for more so later on as the series progresses. Maybe he's just keeping them because maybe Bond's national treasure is to steal maybe a lifespan or the actual soul, or what more can Bond steal with his what does his national treasure can lift the 7 members up? That's what I'm trying to understand. Bond, just remember, he's still a regular human, and he just has immense strength, but at the end of the day, he's still a regular human. So I'm kind of curious as to how Bond's character will develop as the chapters continue on. And you got to remember too as well, with Bond actual still, taking control, King is still a little damaged. Escanor is still a little damaged, is shown in the chapter. We got Diana, who's like very, very tiny. She's a tiny little giant. So you're wondering too as well, what's going to happen with Diana? So with Diana, like I said, Chandler's magic will dissipate, and boom, Diana will come back to her rightful place right there. Like I said, with Diana's character too, I kind of don't see it. I don't really see it right now. More so the fact that because her magic is involving the dancing, so maybe when she faces off against another enemy, maybe they might showcase more of her abilities. But so far, none. They haven't shown none of that yet. I'm just hoping to see maybe Nakaba Sensei can help us to see what he's going to be doing with Diana's character. I mean, for Pete's sakes, Delore actually stated, in the previous chapters that that's the new queen. So we're going to be seeing that a more change on the Giants clan, the members themselves. So that'd be very interesting to see. Now, the last topic I do want to mention before I leave this is the fact with frickin' Merlin's character. Merlin's. I think that's the one. Yeah, I believe that's the last one. Yeah, because they didn't really mention any much more to the characters themselves. Merlin and King Arthur. Yes, we're hoping to see them more in the actual chapters that are coming up, because they're going to Camelot still. So I'm just wondering if they're going to bring back the actual sword, Excalibur, back into the business. If they're going to do that, I'm hoping they're going to explain to us to why the sword Excalibur can actually bring. Why is this sword so fearful that Zeldris wants to carry it itself? Is it a curse lifting sword, or is it something that involves the demon clan and the goddess clan that both themselves are actually able to harness themselves? That's what I'm kind of curious at what this weapon Excalibur can do, and as to why Merlin wants King Arthur. Maybe that's why, because only King Arthur can pull Excalibur out in order to invoke those abilities from the actual sword. Like I said, very interesting. I want to see more of what's to come. So, like I said, Nakaba Sensei, respect to your manga all the time. Love it to the very end. But let me know down in the comments below, guys, folks, as to what are you guys' thoughts on the recent chapter itself. Do you guys want to see that Chandler versus Cusack, Chandler versus Esterosa, Melly, and do you guys agree with my theory that, like I said, Meliodas is going to Demon King to give an ultimatum in order to take off Elizabeth's curse, as the way that the chapter is actually going about? But like I said, let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, if you guys enjoy my content, don't forget to give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Nanatsu no Taizai chapter discussions. And as always, guys, hope to see you guys again in the next video. But peace out, folks.